All right. Good evening. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm Nicki Holt, and we have, I don't know where she is on your
Kaylee.
screen. Kaylee's here
I'm right here.
too. And we're so excited that you guys are joining us for our to be determined group, because what better time to just jump in to focusing on ourselves and our nutrition than in the middle of a pandemic. So controlling what we can control. And we have Kaylee, who is not only to be certified mentor, but she also has her own success journey that I'm so excited that she's going to be talking to us about, and how she was able to lose 10 pounds following the to be mindset, and just some of her tips and tricks, as well as being able to be here for us to support us in all the ways that we want support. So, Kay, I'm gonna have you kind of chime in with our next items.
One thing I just love about 2B is it's a mindset. It's not a diet. I know Nicki and I were talking about diet. It's kind of, did I eat that? 2B mindset, it kind of shifts away from that diet culture. Like, this can be a lifelong shift we can make. You really have to customize it to your own journey. You have to see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. It's a lot of trial and error, but I've been able to find a lot of success with it. Before I found to be mindset, I was counting calories. I tried keto for a little while, kind of all those little diets while I was in college, just trying to keep off the extra. It changed my life. It's pretty, it has structure, but it also doesn't have structure. That's kind of where just guidelines for you to follow. And then with I'm a really big meal prepper. I'm a physical therapist assistant, so I'm working 5 days a week, and I've been able to really be to meal prep and kind of schedule out my week in a way where it works for me. So far I've lost 10 pounds following 2B, so that's been super exciting, and I've been able to keep it off, and that's the biggest thing. I lost weight when I did keto and all that, but it would just always come back as soon as you start eating carbs. And I love how 2B, you get to eat all the food groups still. We aren't cutting carbs. We're eating all of that throughout the day. And one thing I really like, Alana, I love Alana. She's my favorite. With just what she says in the videos makes sense, especially with carbs or the fiber-filled carbohydrates, how we're energy, and at night when we're kind of winding down, we don't need that extra energy because we're just going to be going to bed. And that was a hard mindset for me. My entire life, I always had a carb at dinner, like bread or rice. That's just something I grew up with. And once I was able to change my mindset and realize that I don't need that carb at night, I'm still fine when I don't eat it, it was a huge improvement for me. So that's a big thing. And then another thing, Ilana, she puts a lot of videos up about eating out and going to parties, and they're super helpful videos. And we just have so much, so many resources available to us that are super helpful. And I recommend that everybody starts looking over. Yeah. Okay.
I've watched the getting ready ones, your business starting, but I haven't watched any in particular from Alana.
Okay. So kind of how she breaks it down, she does accessories and kind of how we incorporate them into all of our meals. And then she also does a lot of recipes, and that's one thing I love. I love trying all the new recipes. And then
is that the to be fit thing, the nutrition plan thing? Okay, I'm gonna look at that.
So yeah, if you go, it's kind of how you can select a workout like MBF, you can select 2B, and then it opens up and it will say start here, lessons, recipes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And one like big thing, like I'm like very good at working out, but like nutrition's the one part where I've like always struggled so much. So I felt like I was like never getting to my end goal because my nutrition was never really like on point. And they say like abs are made in the kitchen. And that's like a huge thing that I've really come to realize, like really following 2B, I've really got to like reach my goals of working out and eating right. And like the amount of energy I have, I've never had so much energy than I do now. I wake up at 4 a.m., I work all day, I come home, I can still make dinner. I'm just like all day long, I have energy. So that's probably one of the best things from following 2B.
And one of the things Kaylee kind of highlights with her energy aspect, but fueling your body correctly, then it allows you to have that energy for one. But with 2B and that shifting our focus from like a restrictive mindset with the did I eat that on a diet, this is so lifestyle focused. And Britton, that's definitely something that I struggle with. Like, we have a family, we're trying to feed our family. We don't, like, what I love about 2B, you don't have to like ever show up somewhere and be like, I'm eating Whole30 or I'm eating keto, is this, you know? And when you're making your family meals, how I prepare our dinners for the evening, like I'm able to control, like, oh, that's what I was going to say with Kaylee. Like Kaylee's work environment right now, I don't like, there's a lot of negativeness going on. Like if you're in a hospital, if you're in anything, anywhere really, right? We have it on social media all the time. There's a lot of negative. And so she really like leaned in is the word, to the controlling what she could control. So she knew she could control her workout. She knew she could control what she was eating and like feeling like empowered. And that's what I love about the 2B2 is that it's an empowered way of eating. It's not restrictive because we can eat all of the food groups and all the things, but it's allowing you to say, do I need this eating opportunity? Or do I like, if you're not following her on social, Ilana, she has some great tips. I try to share them with some of my groups sometimes, but I could share all of them. But like, she had a great way of going after like pie, you know, like having your first bite, really enjoy it, you know, and like, so you don't have to feel like you're not getting to eat all the things, you know, you just maybe don't eat all of it. You have bites of them, you know.
One bite to taste.
Yeah. And getting back to, and just because you're actually satisfied by that, we tend to just finish our plate or finish the whole piece of pie because that's what we do, right? Like it's just a piece of pie. Anyways, but getting back to what I was saying about preparing the meals. So my husband is trying to gain weight or at least keep his weight on. And so when you are in where you have children or your family and you just trying different eating methods or nutritional diets or anything like that, it can be a challenge. But what's nice is I will prepare maybe a side dish that I know that they can eat, you know, for their meal in the nighttime. And I've even made like scallop potatoes and then I have them with eggs in the morning or something, you know? So it's just getting your mindset. Like once you get in that shift of like today I had a Trader Joe's salad that had like quinoa and just like a bunch of veggies and things. And I put eggs in that. And that was my breakfast. And I was, you know, it's just like being, um, you know, it's just kind of shifting. Like you can have veggies, you can just like, it doesn't need to be a sweet breakfast and things. But then there are such great recipes. And I know we're going to talk or share, but like Kaylee is like her go-to. I know she has a little sweet tooth because she definitely has her, she tries the different recipes. So that's great. I think we're gonna just
One
stay
thing
on
I
this.
do.
Oh,
Huh?
sorry, Kay, I couldn't hear you.
Okay.
Sorry, go.
One thing I do. carb for him, like pasta, like rice-a-roni, whatever kind of he wants. Cause like I'm always cooking a protein and a veggie, and then I'll just make an extra carb for him to have, or like a baked potato. And then sometimes I try to do like whole grain pasta or brown rice. And then I usually have that the next day. If I didn't meal prep, I'll have it the next day for lunch, and kind of just like make extra, even though I'm not having it at dinner, I can carry it into the next day. But yeah, and sometimes like, because we're not like eating that carb at dinner, sometimes I'll do like 2 different veggies. I'll do like roasted carrots and like cauliflower rice. Like for me, like eating 2 different types of veggies makes it feel like I'm not missing out on that carb. So that's one thing that I've noticed. If I just have like one veggie and like chicken, I feel like I'm like missing out and I'm not satisfied. I think it's more of a mental thing, but that's one thing I've kind of noticed by having 2 veggies and protein.
Utilizing that extra carb at night, healthy carb, to bring it into the next day at lunch, like that totally, to me, like finding little ways to meal prep without like having specific time to meal prep all the time, is good for me to get into this, because I feel like I've tried to do meal prep on the weekends and I just haven't mastered it just yet. And so finding those little ways to meal prep, and you know, just like when I used to go and make a lunch for my son the next day, like cutting up veggies, I give him some, I make sure I have some for myself, kind of deal. But I definitely like that piece with dinner. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't do that either. I usually do like cooked dinner, and then I usually use whatever protein I have with my veggies. And I do what Kaylee does, and I do 2 different kinds of veggies, because it makes me feel like I'm eating more of what they're having, but realistically I'm not. So it's nice to trick my brain like that. Like, hey, you don't need that carb right now.
Yeah, and so much of it is mindset, and getting back to the, like, we have been brought up where we celebrate with food. Like our holidays, or, oh, you passed a test, let's go out for ice cream. Or, oh, let's like, I hit my weight goal, let's go out to Starbucks. And, you know, if you're getting your Frappuccino, like that's gonna like, you know, that's not rewarding yourself in the best way. So we're big on non-food rewards, a sweater, your nails done, you know, like a massage, a bath, like anything, especially moms, like a break, a phone call, an hour with talking to your best friend or something like that, you know, like where you're like, hubby, I earned this hour or whatever, you know. So it's just, again, there's so much mental pieces to it that it's really beautiful. And I always talk about, and I will share, I don't know if am I frozen? Am I freezing on you guys?
A little bit.
Dang it. Okay. Yeah, Kayla, you can chime in on that if you want, and then
like when something good happens, like we just got to treat ourselves with something else besides food. But so much of society, we just have that mindset that celebratory times need to be rewarded with food. And then oh, and then one thing I would like to note about, so like when you guys watch the videos, kind of see that like she talks less about portion sizes, because like you have to kind of customize it and do what portion sizes work for you. She has the plate it method, so it's like for dinner 50% veggies, 50% protein, but it's like how much chicken. It kind of just like it'll change week to week, day to day. Like if you're extra hungry, obviously eat like 2 chicken thighs instead of 1. You kind of have to just customize that yourself and see what works for you. The biggest thing is going to be tracking what you eat. Just track it and see what happens. And then obviously going on the scale every day. It's kind of, those are like your feedback tools of like how your eating is going. And like, but tracking is just the biggest thing, and try to be very specific with your tracker. Even if you're just taking like 1 or 2 bites, like the other day I was eating my nephew's mac and cheese and I was like, oh, I took like 5 bites of mac and cheese. I should track it just to get in the habit of like tracking everything. Because you really like, and that next day, like I didn't have a weight gain day, like I still was fine. It's like, oh, you like kind of become surprised sometimes. You can actually eat more than you think and still maintain and or have a weight loss day. So that's pretty interesting too. Really try to be good with tracking.
I have a question. So I know on there, I know they have snacks that you can make. Is there anything that you recommend besides just eating like raw vegetables for like a snack?
I always do like hard-boiled eggs for snacks. And then I use my Shakeology as a snack whenever I get home from work around like 3 o'clock. I'll have my Shakeology just to kind of hold me over for dinner. Cause that's like when I'm the worst, kind of that afternoon when you're just kind of bored and hangry and you just kind of are waiting for dinner. But so yeah, mostly, or else sometimes I'll do like a whole grain cracker and I'll put like cheese and turkey, even though it's like not veggies most, I just know it'll like keep me over until dinner. And then again, I just track it and I see what happens and you just kind of have to do what works for you. But also just like protein too. Sometimes I'll even eat like beef jerky, just with something with protein to kind of hold me over. Sometimes veggies just don't cut it.
Yeah. And we're going to be doing these weekly Wednesday calls. So it will allow for these conversations of like what in the week or what are you noticing by tracking and stuff like this. This was our first call as a kickoff call. And one of the reasons why we made it is for the accountability and encouragement and support that's just focused around our nutrition as opposed to like work, like exercise is extra credit with the 2B mindset. And so this is getting a little bit deeper and allowing you for success because we know that is like the big struggle is our nutrition. And especially when you're overhauling lifestyle habits and you're bringing in working out or you're bringing in that, like you can get super overwhelmed. So again, like having Kaylee and her success, but also some of the things that she has done and we are going to include in our group, like the materials, she like had them on her. Kay, do you want to talk about that? You like printed out a couple things on your.
I feel like the plate it method. That's kind of tells you like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, or snacktional. I just like to have it out. Like I have it on my fridge, taped up there. So it's just like when I'm opening my fridge, it's always kind of like in the back of my mind. And then also they have like a bunch of food lists whenever I'm like having a hard time, like, oh, what do I want to meal prep this week? I'll like look, there's a veggie food list and carbs and protein. And I'll kind of just glance through just to get new ideas. I kind of get in the habit, like I eat a lot of cauliflower and you just kind of get bored after a while. And looking at all those food lists, they really give you better ideas or like, oh, that sounds good. Just to have something else just with ideas. And then and then there's, oh, go ahead, Nikki.
Sorry, there's this more sure. I just posted it in our 2B group yesterday, I think, but we're going to put them in the file section too, so you guys can check them out as we share things. And it's in the materials in our app and all that stuff. But it's like when you're hungry, water first, veggies, then have a protein and a carb. And then if you want more, you go back through that cycle. Have your 16 ounces of water, vegetables, so it's like, oh, okay. Like, and if you're still full or like Kaylee said, she's been doing it, but just since July, really. And she's like already noticed though, like, oh, those crackers and a protein and a veggie, that's more complete. And I think we're programmed, which is sad again, like, but we don't always have complete snacks. We have goldfish for our kids. That's not even a complete snack. I was talking to my son why trail mix and stuff is good is because it has the healthy fat of the nuts and it has the raisins for the, it's a natural sweet and the carb and the chocolate, right? Like, but it's just like, it's more of a complete option than like goldfish alone. So it's just kind of, and then celery with peanut butter, like just kind of getting your head in that groove. Chips, let's substitute that with like carrots or something crunchy, like a cucumber, and dip it in salsa or dip it in whatever you want to dip it, hummus and all the things. So it's just, I love Alana because she likes to eat and I love to eat and I love my
It's
flavors.
portion sizes.
And it's just like her watering down our dressings, or just some of her methods are just like, oh my gosh, why have I never, what this, it just like simplifies it. So we can't stress enough, listen to the videos of To Be Mindset, because I refer to them all the time. I go back where I'm like, proteins, I'm like out of my groove. Let's listen to her protein thing again. So then it gives me ideas.
Mhm.
And then
And then in our group, we want people to like be sharing their trackers, and then we're gonna be posting recipes. If you guys like come across a good recipe, or if you find something that works well for meal prepping, or you have a good idea for like snacks, we just want like to create a nice atmosphere where we can all encourage and support each other. We're all kind of figuring this out, and things are gonna work for different people. But at the end of the day, I think we should just track it. You see if it works for you, if it doesn't work for you. And also in our daily posts, we're going to be doing a thing called like daily victories, small wins, just so we can all be focusing on positive things during this crazy time in the middle of a pandemic. But yeah, watch for that on the posts, because we just want people to share and just be interactive.
yeah. And they're non-scale victories, or just by choosing like, oh, my friends, like I went to Starbucks and rather than choosing my normal, like, and I'm just like using that as an example because people don't realize how much calories we drink, but like pumpkin spice latte, I got 1 pump instead of the normal. And then you start to like pull back and like no whipped cream. And then you start to pull back, you just start making these positive shifts, these positive substitutions. And then you realize like, oh, I don't really need that, or, and then you just kind of shift altogether. So again, we're really trying to break away from the all or nothing, because that's when you feel restricted, then you're going to just like crave it, want it, and then go crazy on it. At least that's what I do when I feel like I can't have something. So if I'm like, hey, or it's a holiday, like, yes, my mom baked her favorite pie. My mom doesn't bake pies, but like, like this thing I'm going to eat that. I'm going to enjoy this. And again, that's where the beauty is if you can do that without guilting yourself. Okay.
That's a victory in itself.
Right. I had this, and then I didn't let it spiral me down where then I ate like 4 pieces of pizza, and then I ate ice cream, and then I ate, you know what I mean? Like being able to just enjoy, and then you'll find that like, oh, I really did enjoy that, or oh, then you start to realize how it affects your body. And then if you're a little like, oh, I'm bloated, oh, I don't feel good. I got a message from a girlfriend who was just in such pain after Thanksgiving, and it's just because she hasn't been fueling herself that way, and then let herself, enjoy maybe a little too much. I don't know. We didn't get too far into it, but it's feedback. We're going to learn from our bodies. Just like, I don't know, as a woman and as a person who's had multiple friends with eating disorders, I always want to blanketly state, if the scale is something that is a trigger for you, stay away from it. We don't need to like spiral into any other things. We need to even just tracking and just being aware of your day to day and things and how you feel. This is a lot of how you feel and how you can continue to make the positive steps, because I know when I fold and put my laundry away, I feel good. I feel like I did something positive. And so when I make a positive step in the right direction, then I am more likely to make the next positive step. And that's kind of what this does too. And that's what we're hoping. Do we have any questions, or if you wanted to show anything as far as materials go, Kay?
Not at the moment right now. We'll be putting like the My Plate It method and the food list. We'll put all those in the section on our group. But yeah, and then at night, if you do want to start sharing like your trackers, once we start officially on Monday, we'll do a little like dinner and done post. That's like a saying that Alana says. She says, dinner and done, find other fun, which I have a very hard time with because I've eaten dessert my entire life. But we'll do a little post that says dinner and done, and then we can post our trackers there.
And yes, if you have friends or other people who have to be mindset, or they're welcome here. So again, this is for our broad team, and any of the coaches or any of the clients, just again having success and just having more of contact, and it helps us be better coaches too. It helps Kaylee be a better mentor and coach. It helps me, when we see what are we struggling with, and then, and trying to help, and trying to take something that can seem so clustered or overwhelming to so many people, and how can we like simplify? How can we personalize Alana, right? Because she is on a video screen, but she's also $300 if you want to meet with her for a half hour. So it's we're so very fortunate that Beachbody is partnered with her and that we have her as reference. We've also encouraged, especially with the challenge packs right now, we're getting both of the meal plans. But there's also an accessory pack that you could just purchase. And especially if you have a coach membership, it's cheaper. I want to say it's like $35. And so then you'll get the actual, you'll get like the go-to guide in your pocket, like, so you can put it in your purse. So when you're at the store and it just tells you like, there's your refrigerator, here's your veggies, here's your FFCs, your fiber-filled carbs, here's what you could put in your freezer, here's accessories, just things to be mindful of and stuff like that. Other questions or anything?
I have a question. Are you talking about the group that Jessica put together, or is it a different Facebook? Is it a Facebook group? Or like
I realized, Jesse, I feel like you're so brand new that you didn't even realize what the call was for. So, this is just a To Be Mindset group where we're focused just on nutrition. Jess has an overall, like, where you're checking in for your fitness, where she provides a little encouragement and different things that way. So that's held differently, but these are both held in the BOD group. And so it's really easy to like just be in both of them, And so if you're wanting to commit more into your nutrition and your lifestyle change, like I mentioned before, like I think it's ideal coming into, because it'll just like help set you up for success. And again, why we decided to start this is because we wanted everybody to be able to thrive during the holidays, not like surviving, not feeling bad, not shaming, not guilting, not feeling that they need to start the new year like, oh, I've just gone off the deep end, just making little tweaks. And so if it's choosing water when you are used to having tea or something else, and then again, that's one of those small victories. So it's just starting to help prep you, because our minds already shift into like go-getter mode when the calendar actually flips too. So
can you send me an invite to that group?
yes. Can you drop your email in the chat for me?
Yes, I will.
Perfect. Kay, did you have something else to say?
I'm excited to get started, and just for all of us to be on this journey together. Like at the end of the day, we just want to support each other and help hold each other's accountable. Help hold each other accountable. Nutrition, like we are choosing what we put in our body every day, all day. That's like one of the biggest things, but we have the most control over it. So I'm just super excited to start this group and continue the journey with all of you.
Yes. And the group is where we're going to be in there. You can throw questions in there. Any, you know, if you're struggling with the breakfast, if you're struggling with things, we'll try to put resources in there, but also feel free. We want to know. And then we're also going to be doing these calls. So our next call is going to be next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And so, and we'll also do a reminder post in the group. And so it's just, again, trying to optimize the support and the accountability that we all desire. If there's not any questions, I want to be very respectful of your time. I appreciate you guys being on the call.
Yeah,
And we're just so excited about it. We do have this as our prep week. So we are posting in there. We're sharing. You can share your workouts in there. And the more we get to know each other collectively, the more we're able to help and support each other too.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Have a good night.
Bye. Okay. Hey.
Bye, Rochelle. Thanks so much for being here. I know you're at work.
Thank you.